All right, we're with Merrick Malach, and we just did some fishing out on Sturgeon Bay today with Captain John Pollock. Merrick, tell us a little bit about the day today and what it was like from your perspective.
Oh, it was a great morning. John and I have shared a boat together for a lot of years growing up, and in the charter business, that kind of a thing. It was great to be able to share the boat with him again this morning. Kind of a shakedown cruise, first trip of the year, and it started off with an absolute bang. It was an incredible morning. First 5 minutes, I think we had a couple, 2-3 fish going. First hour, I think almost a dozen bites, things like that. Just an all-around great morning. The conditions on the lake couldn't be better. Setting up to be an absolutely tremendous season.
So you have a charter business of your own. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I am the owner of Varsity 2 Sport Fishing Team, more of a tournament traveling team now, but we do run some trips, helping out things like that. And then I own the Blue Door Tournament Series based out of the Port of Kewaunee, Wisconsin.
Tell me a little bit about the Blue Door Tournament Series.
Sure, absolutely. We're in our 8th year now. We host a spring brown trout tournament in April, generally the 3rd week of April, and then we host an annual offshore challenge the 3rd week of June. It's more of a diverse fishery, more of a salmon and trout tournament that time of the year.
And where is the tournament out of?
So we're based out of the Port of Kewaunee, Wisconsin. We kind of run a unique program. Our April tournament is actually a traveling tournament, so teams can trailer or port hop with their boats and fish whichever port they're more comfortable at or wherever they're chasing a bite. And then our offshore challenge is a shotgun start based out of and ran out of the Port of Kewaunee, Wisconsin.
And tell me a little bit about the format there and how much it costs.
Sure, absolutely. So our April brown trout tournament is weigh your best 5 brown trout. It's generally right around $150 to get in. It's per boat, not per angler. So we encourage people to bring more people on their team. Bring in their wives or their children, things like that, family, friends. More of a family-friendly format. Our offshore challenge is very similar. That one's right around the $250 range to get in. Same deal, weigh your best 5, but it can be any combination of salmon or trout. Again, same kind of format, 9 rods but for both tournaments. We do that just to make it a little more appealing to folks in smaller boats that can't get a wide spread of rods out in a 14-foot wide Viking such as this. But no, super great environment. We've had teams travel. I think our April tournament, we had teams from 5 neighboring states and 1 Canadian province. So we have a tremendous following. It really has become probably the most premier tournament series on Lake Michigan's western shore for sure.
Tell me about tournament fishing. If someone, maybe they're just kind of a hobby angler and they like to go out and have a good time on the weekend with their friends, why should they get into tournament fishing?
Oh boy, tournament fishing is a tremendous edge. A lot of folks are apprehensive. They don't want to spend the money or they don't think they're going to be good enough to make any money. It's kind of why we format our tournaments to a one-day format. Every dog has his day. You could just have a lucky day and really just, put the hooks to them and walk away with a big check. But it really challenges you to be a better angler. It also really helps cultivate a great culture amongst the anglers. You're talking to people that did well after at weigh-in, talking to people what didn't work. You're comparing notes. You're comparing, your days, your pre-fish, all that kind of stuff. And it forces you to think outside the box. It's not just. Some people just go fishing for fun, and that's fine, and that's generally the way we treat our tournaments. But you can take it as serious as you like. But it really helps you hone your craft, and I definitely think it gives you an edge throughout the rest of the season because you network with friends, you make new friends, you learn different techniques, you learn what was working for guys on a day that maybe it wasn't working for you, and you can apply that to the next time you're out or the next tournament you're going to get into. So the entry fee is really actually more of a educational investment. In a lot of cases, and you got a chance to walk away with some really cool prizes or a big check.
Tell me about kind of, as far as the fishing goes, would you say that you fish differently on tournament days than just when you're out fishing?
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit different. It's a little more intense for sure. Every bite really counts, especially if you're just targeting big fish. You're treating baits different. Maybe you're not so laxy-daisy on the rods. You're really more critical. I think it kind of goes back to honing your skills. You're more critical of checking knots, checking hooks, making sure you're taking care of every bite, that you're not just kind of horsing around with the rods, things like that. So it really helps you refine it. But our typical day or tournament day is 9 rods. It just really depends on what kind of bite we got going. If it's more riggers in that case, or more planer boards, stealth programs, fishing lake trout versus silverfish, things like that. So it really just kind of depends on what stage the lake is at and what you're seeing in practice.
All right, you fish several tournaments. Tell me about some of the other tournaments that you fish.
Sure. So I've been privileged enough to travel to the east side. I've fished the Ludington Offshore Challenge. We fished the Frankfurt Benzie Frenzy. Whole host of walleye tournaments from the MWC to the AIM Weekend Walleye Series. We had a Green Bay Walleye Series here on the Bay of Green Bay for a number of years that unfortunately has dissolved. But all of those tournaments are kind of the same basis. They really help force you to, again, hone your craft. And if you're really looking to get an all-around education and really tighten your skills on a day-to-day basis to make your weekends, if you're only getting on the weekends, you want to maximize that time and you want to make sure that all your skills and all your eggs are in one basket.
All right. You can't pick your tournament. What's your favorite tournament?
Oh, I would have to for sure say it's the Frankfurt Benzie Frenzy.
What do you like about it?
It's an incredible town. They roll out the red carpet for the fishermen. The fishing generally that time of the year, the fish are a little closer to shore. Can be a little bit of combat fishing, that kind of thing, plugs, bigger spoons, things like that. It's an awesome fishery. Like I said, the town rolls out the red carpet. It's a great group of anglers. They travel from all over the lake to fish it. It's awesome. I would encourage anybody to check it out.
Anything I didn't ask you that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. So Wisconsin and some of the other neighboring states have started to, we talked about this in the boat, started to restock or really introduce some higher numbers of brook trout stocking. And we're starting to see that here in Lake Michigan. And I think it's incredible. It's a fish that kind of got forgotten about after the heydays. And it's great to see them coming back. And hopefully some of these more northern ports now we're going to start to see some better numbers of those. I think it's kind of the forgotten about fish, and they're absolutely gorgeous. It's a treasure for Lake Michigan for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Tell me a little bit about if people want to fish your tournament, where do they find more information on?
Sure, absolutely. We have a Facebook page. It's the Blue Door Tournament Series. Pretty easy to search that up. And all of our registration is done through the Fish Donkey app or the actual web portal, fishdonkey.com, and you can search the Blue Door Tournament Series. And you'll have the current tournament as well as past tournaments and results. But they can follow us that way, and all the updates are generally ran through Facebook.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Merrick.
Hey, thanks.